Okay, so there are a few different ways that you can run JavaScript. One of the easiest way to run JavaScript is, for example, say you create a folder on your desktop. I just called it JS demo. And you can use tools such as Sublime Text or VS Code. I'm just going to use Sublime Text. And if you have Sublime Text, you can basically just drag a folder and it displays the files in that folder and you can edit it. It's a very convenient way of working through JavaScript. So I'm gonna minimize this a little bit so you can see. And here you can create a new file. So there are a few different ways, but again, one of the way is we're gonna be playing with the HTML quite a bit. So let's create a sample index.html. So I'm just gonna save this, Command S on Mac, Shift S, or you can go to File, Save, and then let's save this as index.html. It doesn't matter what you name it. Okay. Now, if you named it .html, and Sublime has a tool so that if I type in HTML and press Tab, it will automatically populate some of the standard things that exist in the HTML. So here I'll say JS demo as the title. Now you can save this. I can say, for example, hello. You can right click, click on open in browser, and this should open up a browser here somewhere. I usually put it right next to each other. Okay, so there is that. So one thing that's important to know is what the browser sees is basically this, right? And which is over here. And the browser is going to take this and render and have it be displayed over here. So this is the browser's rendering of what you sent. So of course, you can put this into a header if you already are familiar with HTML. It puts it into a header. If you want to put things into a paragraph, you can put some paragraph content here. You start the HTML tag like this, and you close it with this slash. Okay, so there you go. So this is a little bit of a HTML lesson. We can do a list. This is an unordered list, and say item 1, and you can say 2, 3. And a lot of this may be a review if you already are familiar with HTML. All right, so now, but we're talking about JavaScript, right? So for JavaScript, one way that you can do it is, so imagine, I have a bunch of HTML. Before the end of this body, I can add a script and say, browser, I'm going to send you some script, JavaScript instructions for you to follow. So let's say I want to create a variable, and I just want to log that. Okay, just a very simple code. So I do it here, and if I right-click View Page Source, or which I have done over here, right? This is what the browser sees. But where did the browser execute this? Well, what you have to do is you have to right-click, go to Inspect on Chrome. Other browsers would have other inspect tools, and you can place this in different places. You can put this, hold on. So what you would do is you would go to the console. Console is, this is the JavaScript console. So whatever you told it to log or do, it's going to do it over here. Notice that it logged 15. Now I can continue to play with the browser and say, okay, well, tell me what's in A. Enter, right? And it says, oh, A has the value 15. Oh, let's continue to play with A. Let's say A is now whatever is in A plus 30. Run that. And now what's in A? 45. It also shows you over here, right? I can do other things. Oh, create a variable called 15. And then say variable C is now whatever is in A plus B. And then go ahead and log C. So now it logged C. You will see here it says undefined. It just means that console log didn't return anything. It just didn't return anything at the end. Same thing. I declared a variable, set it to be 15, and doing that didn't return anything. That's why it says undefined. All right, so I can continue to do JavaScript. You will see that there are other variables that are globally available for you to play with, one of them being document. And you can see that that's the document here. I can say, hey, why don't you log this? You can use a dir command to log it as a JavaScript object. And there are a lot of things here which you're going to be playing with. But anyway, so this is one way you can put the script here. You can go to the console and you can play with things here directly live and do things here. Of course, you can create a function, right? Here, like console log hello name. So I can put the function, I can execute it, right? Hello, Michael. So you can do it all sorts of stuff in the console, okay, by telling the browser what to do. So this is one convenient way to just put it at the end of the HTML before the end of the body. Another way you can do it, because you can imagine once the HTML gets really messy, and once the JavaScript gets messy, doing everything in a single page may have been nice when you didn't have much, but now that you have a lot, you may say, do you know what, I actually want this dedicated in a separate file. And you can do that too. You can create a new file in that folder, same folder where index.html is, and let's just name this as, what do you want to name it? myscript.js. And again, you can name it whatever you want, and then copy the instructions there. It already knows this is JavaScript because the extension ends with .js. So then you would do that, and then you can get rid of this. And then instead, in the head, you can say, hey, I want you to load this file. I think this is how you do it. Let's just see. Okay, so you do source, script source, and this may be optional. You may not need it, but let's just leave it there for now and then do it. So see? It still ran this. Let's just make sure. Okay, bar b is equal to a plus 35 console log b. So it should log 15 and it should log 50, right? So here, let me reload the page, and there it is, right? I can do other things such as alerting, right? And the browsers would execute the alert, and this says alerting, right? It's really cool. So I think there's even confirm. Are you sure? Right? So it alerts, and then so are you sure? Cancel. Okay. This is the confirmation box. So you can do all sorts of stuff. You can also do it here. Hey, confirm. Are you sure you want to see this? Right? And then when you run it, browser execute it, and then they show a confirmation modal. Right? And look at that. That returned true because I clicked on OK. If I clicked on cancel, it returned false. Isn't that cool? I can also store result. Let's say whatever is returned from that function, are you sure? I'm going to store that in a variable called result. So if I do OK, and then let's see what's in result now. True, right? OK. So anyway, it's really cool. All you need is just a browser to execute JavaScript. JavaScript has kind of become the de facto standard of the browser's language. And I mean, it may support other languages, but for many years, JavaScript has been kind of serving as the dominant scripting language to manipulate HTML. All right.